This is an epic fail. No good.
Alright guys, well it's time for paint. I'm a little bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I have a new to me paint gun. Well, it is a new paint gun. It's not the fanciest thing, but it's had really good reviews and should be a solid little paint gun from what I read. So I just have to assemble that. See what all this is. I think this is a little regulator that it came with, which is nice. You have instructions and the spray gun itself. I don't know what this brand is. Vitro high-end spray solutions. If I had my way, I'd have an Iwata gun. Alright guys, well it's time for paint. I'm a little bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I have a new to me paint gun. Well, it is a new paint gun. It's not the fanciest thing, but it's had really good reviews and should be a solid little paint gun from what I read. So I just have to assemble that. See what all this is. I think this is a little regulator that it came with, which is nice. You have instructions and the spray gun itself. I don't know what this brand is. Vitro high-end spray solutions. If I had my way, I would have an Iwata gun. If I had my way, I'd have an Iwata gun, but they're a bit expensive and I'm on a budget here. But so I've got a Vitro. Never heard of Vitro. It looks like a decent gun. We'll see how this does once I get it all hooked up, how it feels. Yeah, we have a nice little regulator here with the Vitro logo. So that'll screw into here. I didn't think, well, I don't know if I have any extra quick connects, but I do have a regulator on an old paint gun of mine that has a quick connect on it, so let me grab that real quick. But they're a bit expensive and I'm on a budget here. But so I've got a Vitro. Never heard of Vitro. It looks like a decent gun. We'll see how this does once I get it all hooked up, how it feels. Yeah, we have a nice little regulator here with the Vitro logo. So that'll screw into here. I didn't think, well, I don't know if I have any extra quick connects, but I do have a regulator on an old paint gun of mine that has a quick connect on it, so let me grab that real quick. Well, I didn't look in the little baggie of tools here. It had a connect for airline, so I've got all that hooked up here. Put this on my spray gun here. Came with this handy dandy little tool, and most of the time these are really thin, but this one's actually fairly thick, almost 1/8 inch thick. It feels like it's pretty solid. So I've got my little regulator on here, and on the guide, so failure to follow warnings could result in death or serious injury. So I don't want to like point my gun at myself or something like that. It could be catastrophic. Right, now we're looking somewhat together and official. All right, so it's got this tool, and this tool doesn't work on any of the bits I've tried it on. All right, well, let me get a wrench and get this on tight. All right, guys, well, I have my paint gun together, and if you like my little stand here, it's just something I 3D printed on a paint gun. I did not design it. I can't take credit for designing this, but it's a nice little paint gun stand. It'd be nice if I had a wood bench and I just screwed it down into it. But now I need to get the pressure, make sure the pressure of my paint gun is where I need it to be. And in the book, it's around 30 to 32 PSI. So I've got my regulator turned down to about, I forget, about 80 PSI, 75, somewhere in there. so I don't blow out any of the internals of my spray gun here. But also I need to check to make sure we are looking good with my regulator. So, and if you can see there, we're right on 30 psi. I just sprayed my box away. Not sure how I'm liking this. I'm used to having one pull for air, then another pull for getting everything else out of the paint out of the paint gun. This is a single pull, and I'm not sure I'm a fan of that personally. I'm not used to that, needless to say. But we're going to put a little acetone through it, and that helps clean it out from any solvents that were in it to begin with. And it also helps me dial in the spray pattern. I'm going to get some cardboard or something to spray it with, and we'll see how it's looking. Alright, so I retract my previous statement. I just had to back this out a little bit. And then, so now my first pull is nothing but air. And then my second little bit of a pull is the fluid, which would be paint, but it's acetone currently. And I'm feeling like I got a good spray pattern here I'm happy with. So I've got a little bit of acetone in here. I probably use that a little bit for wiping down the hood in these parts. And I probably should be wearing a mask when I was spraying acetone like that, because I'm probably breathing it in now. Yay! Alright. But I'm happy with these results. Cardboard goes bye-bye. And now we need to wipe down our parts. Alright, so now I'm wetting my floor. So what that does is help keep any dust and debris that might have missed when I was sweeping or have come in since I swept. And just keep that on the floor rather than gets it into the air while I'm painting. This is a trick I learned in body shop school. It's kind of ghetto. Yeah, I get it, but it works. It definitely helps. Alright, now we're on Redneck Painting 102. We've graduated from 101 with our wet floor. It's nice and wet. Now we need to wipe our parts down. We've got some towels here. We have acetone here. I'm going to pour the rest of the acetone that was in the spray gun out to a paper towel. Just wipe down my parts. It helps get any dust that was on them off. And then after that, we'll wipe them again with a tack cloth. I like acetone because it gets all the debris off, but it also dries really, really quickly. And to think I'd blown this off with compressed air. Yeah. All right, now we are mixing our paints, and we have our cup here with all the measurements on it. This paint I wrote on the Sharpie when I bought it is a 2-to-1 mixing ratio, so that means 2 parts paint to 1 part of our reducer or hardener, kind of the same thing here. And so, I mean, we have all these scales for crazy stuff here if we want to, but we just have ounces and milliliters over here, so that's what we're going to use. All right, and there is our color. It's a lovely British Racing Green. I chose the British Racing Green that was on the Jaguar E-Types. I chose it because a friend of mine has this nice E-Type, and he ended up painting it British Racing Green. And if you look up British Racing Green in paint codes, there's dozens of different shades of British Racing Green. There's some with more blues in them, and I don't really like the ones with real blues in them. This one, however, this looks nice. Oh, this is going to be good. All right, I just poured 4 ounces of paint. So now, don't think I need to shake this. This normally you don't have to shake it. All right, so I need to do 4 ounces of my reducer. There we go. All right, now we are at a total of 8 ounces, because sometimes I can do math. And I think about now is the time I should be putting my respirator on. Things are starting to smell pretty strong really quickly. Safety first, all right. So now we're going to mix our paint, put our filter on. Also, I'm just guessing how much I need. I have no idea how much paint I'll need. I mean, I'm just painting a hood and a couple other parts. It shouldn't be much. Probably 2 coats of paint, I imagine, but we'll see. If I need more, I'll mix more.
All right, well, here we go. Here comes our first paint. I'm not gonna lie, I'm nervous. Oh, God. I'm not doing very good. I held the gun way too close. Got really heavy with the paint and it's all splotchy and messed up right there, so I will be redoing this piece. Yeah, same thing on the fuel door here. The other piece is looking a little bit better, so hopefully I can salvage one of those, but these two I'm not going to paint anymore. I'm just going to have to sand them and fix them.
All right, sit rep, I'm not happy with this at all. It's very tiger striped. And I went really dry with it over here so I wouldn't run it like I did over there, and kind of regretting that decision. I'm not very happy with it. We'll see. All right, so I was hoping to cheat by just doing a little basic sanding and do a little scuff and paint here, and I'm not happy with this at all. I mean, next to these scratch marks through here, there's sand marks in the paint. I don't know what the person before me did, so I mean, they could have just hit it with like a 120 and then put some primer on it after the fact. I don't know, so I think I need to stop before I waste any more time or paint or anything like that. And yeah, this is gonna have to dry. I'm gonna have to sand this, sand it down, take my time, do a whole full coat of primer, sand it again, maybe prime it again, because I'm not happy with this at all. This is, if I was to continue painting, you'd see all the sand marks, sand scratches in it. It wastes a lot of time. So this is an epic fail. No good. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today's video. I'm really upset with myself. I've done a lot better paint jobs in a lot worse conditions than this. And I was just being lazy and was hoping that somebody else's work was good and I could get away with a quick scuff, and I clearly can't. So I'm going to let this dry. This is horrible. This is atrocious. This is embarrassing, but I'll still post it on the internet because I suck. And it's okay to admit sometimes you make mistakes, and I clearly made a massive mistake. But that's kind of the reason why I only did a few parts starting out, to see how things would turn out. That's it. Thank you. Have a good night. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell me how horrible I am. Tell me what I did wrong. I don't care. Whatever. I'm kind of beaten down at this moment in time. Time for my respirator back on, clean up, and probably go to bed.
Good night.